testimony at this time. We are yielding 5 minutes, and we offer you an opportunity to enter your entire testimony for the record. And welcome to the committee, and you may proceed. But before you do, let me just basically mention that all committee members who are not here may, in fact, submit written questions for you, Ms. Penegray, for the record. Thank you. And so with that, we have the Honorable Louise Slaughter, who's joined us.
Madam Chairman, thank you. And it's such a pleasure to see you sitting in that chair. It becomes you. I do thank you for the opportunity to address you today on an issue of great importance, I think, to the entire nation. As a co-chair of the Congressional Great Lakes Task Force, I'm here to discuss critical funding for the restoration and protection of the Great Lakes. Lakes Erie, Huron, Michigan, Ontario, and Superior contain more than 18% of the world's fresh water, more than 90% of North America's surface fresh water, and supply drinking water to more than 35 million people. Millions of people benefit from the commerce and business that depend on the waters of the Great Lakes. The lakes are not only a prized natural resource, but a significant economic engine for our country. This committee has the opportunity to create jobs, revive many regional economies, and to bolster communities, businesses, and industries by funding the protection and restoration of the Great Lakes. The Brookings Institute released a report in 2007 finding that $26 billion investment to restore the Great Lakes will create $50 billion in economic gains, a 2-for-1 return on our investment. That's a net gain of at least $24 billion from increases in tourism, the fishing industry, recreational activity, and home values, and again, of course, keeps that valuable supply of fresh water available to our citizens. Restoring the lakes will also put people to work immediately. The recommendation to fix old sewers in the region, $7.65 billion in federal investment, will create at least 265,000 jobs, according to the U.S. Department of Transportation statistics. We must protect the Great Lakes in order to ensure that we and future generations continue to reap its many benefits. Every day, the lakes are threatened by serious problems such as sewage contamination and invasive species. More than 24 billion gallons of sewage contaminate the lakes every year, closing beaches and threatening the public's health. The EPA estimates that the nation must invest $390 billion to fix old sewers to prevent the combined sewer overflows and storm sewer overflows, many of which occur in the Great Lakes and Northeast regions of the country. New York alone needs $36.2 billion over the next 20 years to repair failing infrastructure that leads to billions of gallons of sewage in the New York waterways every year. Non-native aquatic invasion species continue to wreak havoc on our economy and way of life. A new non-native aquatic invasive species is discovered in the lakes every 28 weeks. Invasive species like the zebra mussel cause more than $200 million in damage, and costs are borne by people, cities, the industry, and the businesses. I'm happy to say that the Coast Guard reauthorization bill, which passed last April and is still stalled in the Senate, was a good first step to creating a strong ballast water management program. We should never have been on the buddy system or the good faith system to have shipping interests from other parts of the world simply state no ballast on board, then get into the Great Lakes and dump it. Unless action is taken, the problems will only get worse and solutions will cost more. To underscore the point, leading scientists released a report in 2005 that found the cumulative impact of these threats is pushing the lakes toward a tipping point. That is critical information, and it's already 4 years old. In short, deterioration of the ecosystem is accelerating dramatically, and if not addressed now, the damage might be irreversible. Unfortunately, federal efforts to restore the lakes have not kept pace with the threats to the lakes. A 2002 Government Accountability Office report found that efforts to restore the Great Lakes have been stymied by a lack of coordination and clear strategy. The GAO found that a lack of funding and strategy similar to the other restoration efforts, such as the Chesapeake Bay and the Florida Everglades, for instance, have impeded the restoration efforts of the Great Lakes. And the report also, of course, indicated lack of funding because we put very little funding since I've been in Congress to help the Great Lakes. The report recommended that the EPA administrator charge EPA's Great Lakes National Program Office with developing an overarching Great Lakes strategy, submitting a proposal to Congress for funding the plan, and developing, most importantly, a way to measure progress. In 2005, federal leaders took a major step forward in the effort to restore the Great Lakes when the EPA spearheaded a broad stakeholder process to craft a multi-year plan to restore this great natural resource. More than 1,500 stakeholders participated in the one-year effort, representing industry, business, state and local government, tribes, advocacy organizations, and state and federal agencies.
And in conclusion?
We have, I appreciate that President Obama has put $475 million in this budget, recognizing the great need to restore the Great Lakes, and I'm here to humbly ask you to protect that investment that President Obama wants to make, and I thank you all very much.
And thank you. I'll recognize myself for a moment for a question. Ms. Congresswoman Slaughter, you mentioned that the Coast Guard Reauthorization Act is held up in the Senate.
Yes.
Can you share with the committee at least what the stated
what the
problems are with the